William Shakespeare, date of birth unknown, was baptised 26th of April 1564 and was an English playwright, poet and actor. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. Shakespeare wrote 38 plays over his lifetime. However, in recent years, the publisher, Arden Shakespeare, added a new play to their collection called Double Falsehood under Shakespeare's name. This technically takes the total number to 39. Lope de Vega is generally thought to be the most prolific playwright of all time. Approximately 400 of his plays have survived, and the general opinion is he wrote between 15 and 2,000 of them in his lifetime. Sir Isaac Newton was born on the 25th of December 1642 and was an English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, alchemist and author, widely recognised as one of the greatest mathematicians and scientists of all time. Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation that dominated the scientific viewpoint for centuries until it was superseded by the theory of relativity. Newton used his mathematical description of gravity to derive Kepler's law, a planetary motion for tides and trajectory of comets. Marie Curie, born 7th of November 1867, was a Polish and naturalised French physicist and chemist who conducted pioneer research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and the only person to win a Nobel Prize in 2 scientific fields, launching the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes. Marie won the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her discovery of elements plutonium and radium, using techniques she invented for isolating radioisotopes. During World War I, she developed mobile radiography units to provide X-ray services to field hospitals. Charles Darwin, born 12th of February 1809, was an English naturalist, geologist and biologist, widely known for his contributions to evolution. His proposition that all life has descended from a common ancestor is now generally accepted and considered a fundamental concept in science. In a joint publication with Alfred Wallace, he introduced his scientific theory of evolution, resulting from the process he called natural selection, in which the struggle for existence has similar effect to an artificial selection involving selective breeding. Darwin has been described as one of the most influential figures in human history. Darwin's early interest in nature led him to leave his medical education in the University of Edinburgh, instead helping to investigate marine invertebrates. His 5-year voyage on the HMS Beagle in 1931 established Darwin as an eminent geologist after publication of his journal of the voyage made Darwin famous. Galileo Galilei was born in Florence on the 15th of February 1564. He was an Italian astronomer, physicist and engineer. Galileo studied the speed of light, velocity, gravity and freefall, the principle of relativity, inertia, projectile motion, and also worked in applied science and technology, describing the properties of pendulums and hydrostatic balances. Galileo has been called the father of astronomy. Just a few of his contributions include the phases of Venus, analysis of lunar craters, sunspots, rings of Saturn, and Jupiter's 4 moons. All this with a telescope he not only invented but built himself. Galileo's theory about the Earth rotating around the Sun seen him run at odds with the Catholic Church. Galileo later defended his views, but in 1615 he was found guilty of heresy and forced to spend the rest of his life under house arrest for contradicting the word of the Holy Spirit. Ruth Handler, born November 4th, 1916. She was an American businesswoman and inventor, best known for inventing the Barbie doll in 1959. Ruth was born in Denver, Colorado, and she married her high school sweetheart before moving to Los Angeles in 1938. Her husband decided to make their furniture out of 2 newfound types of plastic, lucite and plexiglass. Ruth suggested they started doing this commercially and they began a furniture business. Ruth worked at sales for the new business, landing contracts with Douglas Aircraft Company and many others before Ruth and her husband decided to co-found Mattel, in which they served as CEO for 30 years until they were forced off the board of their own company. Sir Donald Bradman, born 27th of August 1908, nicknamed The Don. The Don was Australia's best cricketer of all time. Bradman's career test batting average of 99.94 has been cited as the greatest achievement by any sportsman in any major sport in history. His rise from bush cricket to the Australian Test team took him just over 2 years. Before his 22nd birthday, he had set many records for top scoring, some of which still stand, and he became Australia's sporting idol at the height of the Great Depression. During a 20-year playing career, Bradman constantly scored at a level that made him, in words of the Australian captain, worth 3 batsmen. A controversial set of tactics known as bodyline was specifically designed by the English team to curb his scoring. As team captain, Bradman drew spectators in record numbers. The focus of Bradman's individual performances strained relationship with his teammates, administrators and journalists who thought he was aloof and wary. Following an enforced hiatus due to the Second World War, he made a dramatic comeback, leading the Australian team on a record-breaking tour of England. Sir Frank Whittle. Air Commodore Whittle was born on the 1st of June 1907 and was an English engineer, inventor and Royal Air Force officer. He is credited with inventing the jet engine. Whittle demonstrated an aptitude for engineering and an interest in flying from an early age. At first he was turned down by the RAF, but determined to join the force, he overcome his physical limitations and was accepted and sent to No. 2 School of Technical Training to join No. 1 Squadron in Canwell Aircraft Apprentices. He was taught the theory of aircraft engines and gained practical experience in engineering workshops. His academic and practical abilities as an aircraft apprentice earned him a place on the officer training course at Canwell. He excelled in his studies and became an accomplished pilot. While writing his thesis, he formulated the fundamental concepts that led to the creation of the turbojet engine, taking out a patent in his design in 1930. His performance at the Officers' Engineering course earned him a place on a further course at Peterhouse, Cambridge, where he graduated with a first. Without Air Ministry support, he and 2 retired RAF servicemen formed Powerjets Limited. Official interest was soon to follow, however the stress seriously affected Whittle's health, eventually resulting in a nervous breakdown. In 1944, Powerjets was nationalised and he again suffered a nervous breakdown. In 1948, Whittle retired from the RAF and received a knighthood. He then accepted the position of engineering specialist with Shell, followed by Bristol Aero Engines. Frank immigrated to the United States in 1976 and accepted the position of research professor at the United States Naval Academy before his ultimate retirement in 1979. Food for thought. Thank you for watching. Good night.